Darkness falls quickly in the Appalachian Mountains. One moment, a hiker is surrounded by golden light and rustling leaves. The next, a heavy silence presses in like a living thing. This silence is the first sign that something is wrong. Again and again, experienced hikers, people who know the trail better than most of us know our own streets, step into these woods and are never seen alive again. Search teams describe a pattern that chills even the most hardened rescuers. A backpack sits neatly against a tree. Footprints follow a clear path and then simply stop, as if the person who made them was lifted into the air. No struggle, no scattered gear. Radios and cell phones die without warning. It's as though the mountain itself has decided to erase the traveler. Consider the case of a seasoned trekker who vanished only a few miles from a busy trailhead. He checked in with family by text, confirmed his route, and carried enough supplies for days. Within hours, he was gone. Dozens of trained searchers, helicopters, and tracking dogs found nothing but a single boot print on a ridge where no one should have been able to climb. The terrain was too steep, the rock face slick with moss. Yet the print was fresh. Rescue workers tell stories they rarely share in public. Compasses spin uselessly. GPS devices display blank screens. Dogs refuse to move forward, tails tucked. Eyes fixed on something deep in the trees that humans cannot see. Some volunteers describe hearing faint laughter or a low hum that vibrates through the ground. They know how crazy it sounds, but they swear the forest watches them. The Appalachian Trail runs more than 2,000 miles from Georgia to Maine, crossing landscapes of ancient stone and endless forest. Geologists call these mountains some of the oldest on Earth. Local folklore says they remember everything. Centuries of Cherokee legends speak of spirit paths, invisible corridors where the boundary between worlds thins. Old settlers told of lights flickering between trees and voices that called loved ones deeper into the dark. Skeptics point to sinkholes, sudden fog, hidden caves, and sheer exhaustion. These dangers are real, yet they don't explain why belongings remain perfectly arranged or why bodies, when found, lie miles from the last known point with no sign of injury. It's not just misadventure, it's something stranger. Picture a lone hiker pausing to sip water, the forest whispering around them. A sudden quiet, a shift in the air, perhaps a sound, familiar, inviting, draws them a few steps off the trail. The canopy swallows the daylight. Footprints stop, silence returns, and the Appalachian Mountains, ancient and unknowable, keep their secret once again. Every disappearance adds another name to an unsettling list. Families wait, searchers return empty-handed, and the mountains stand unmoved. If you dare to hike those paths, remember this: people vanish here, and the forest never gives them back. Night settles over the Appalachian Mountains like a velvet trap. The trees whisper, the wind hums, and then, clear as day, you hear a voice calling your name. It sounds familiar: a friend, a parent, a child. You step off the trail, certain someone needs help. That single step is how the story begins. For generations, locals have spoken of callers, unseen entities that mimic human voices to lure travelers into the wilderness. Cherokee legends describe spirit beings who sing from the shadows, drawing hunters toward hidden ravines. Early settlers warned their children never to answer when the forest spoke. Those who ignored the warning often vanished before dawn. Survivor accounts echo these old tales. Hikers report hearing loved ones call out when they know those people are miles away. One camper described a woman's soft plea for help just beyond the tree line. He followed the sound for minutes, maybe hours, until his flashlight died. When he finally turned back, the trail had disappeared, and his compass spun wildly. He was found the next day, exhausted and disoriented, with no memory of how he returned. Search and rescue teams have their own uneasy stories. Some say they've heard their own names whispered through the static of their radios. Others claim the forest goes too quiet, the normal buzz of insects replaced by a low vibration. that seems to hum inside the bones. Dogs, usually fearless, freeze and refuse to enter certain hollows, eyes fixed on something unseen. Skeptics point to natural explanations, echoes bouncing through valleys, temperature shifts warping sound, the mind's tricks when fear takes hold. But those who've heard the callers insist it's more than science. They describe a compulsion, an almost magnetic pull, as if the voice knows exactly how to reach them. The Appalachian Range is one of the oldest on Earth, worn smooth by time yet holding secrets in its endless folds of forest. People say the mountains remember everything, rituals, songs, grief, and that sometimes they sing back. Whether spirit, creature, or something we can't name, the callers remain a mystery no searchlight can reveal. So if you ever hike these trails and hear someone softly calling from the dark, stop, listen, but do not answer. In the Appalachians, a single word can be the last sound you ever speak. The Appalachian wilderness is breathtaking, rolling ridges, moss-covered boulders, and valleys thick with fog. Yet, beneath the beauty hides a landscape built to confuse and consume. Sudden weather shifts blanket entire slopes in white mist within minutes. Rock faces crumble without warning. Caves and sinkholes open like trapdoors beneath the forest floor. Hikers know these dangers, but many disappear in ways that natural hazards alone can't explain. Search teams often find scenes that defy logic. A rainstorm may rage for hours, but a lost hiker's clothing and gear remain perfectly dry. Footprints lead into a clearing and stop as if the person simply dissolved. In other cases, bodies turn up miles from their last known location. High on ridges they could never have climbed in the time they were missing, and without a single scratch or torn piece of clothing. Compasses and GPS units fail in clusters of the range, spinning or shutting down as if an invisible field has swallowed the signal. Experienced woodsmen report sudden disorientation, describing the feeling of walking in circles even when following a straight path. The phenomenon locals call the Appalachian Drift leaves seasoned trackers second-guessing their every step. Rescuers speak of an unnatural quiet that falls without warning. Birds stop calling, wind ceases, the forest seems to hold its breath. In that silence, some hear faint humming, others a distant ringing like metal striking stone far underground. Dogs, normally fearless, often refuse to advance, their hackles raised as though sensing something beyond human perception. Geologists note magnetic anomalies in sections of the range. Meteorologists cite quick-forming microclimates. Both explanations hold truth, but neither accounts for the eerie precision with which electronics, dire people vanish only within certain narrow corridors. The pattern suggests more than chance. Something organized, something watching. Old Appalachian folklore offers its own answer. The mountains themselves are alive, ancient spirits shifting the land to reclaim what enters. Whether you believe the science or the stories, the effect is the same. One misstep, one moment of trust in a compass or a familiar trail, and the mountain decides where you go next. So when fog rolls in and the woods grow silent, every seasoned hiker knows to stop, breathe, and wait. Because in these ancient ridges, the line between natural hazard and the unknown is thin enough to disappear, and sometimes so are the people who cross it. Across North America, a chilling pattern of unexplained disappearances has been documented in national parks and remote wilderness. Researchers call it the missing 411 phenomenon, and the Appalachian Mountains sit at the heart of this unsettling map. The parallels are too precise to ignore. Cases share the same strange signatures. Victims vanish near water, granite outcrops, or dense forest corridors. Sudden weather events, flash storms, heavy fog, unexpected snow often strike the moment someone goes missing, erasing tracks and scent trails. Time behaves oddly. Search teams report covering an area repeatedly, only to find a body or discarded gear days later in plain sight. Distances defy logic. Children barely old enough to walk are discovered miles from where they disappeared. Sometimes at higher elevations, no adult could climb unaided. Experienced hikers are found without shoes, their clothes neatly arranged, showing no sign of a struggle. Autopsies reveal no trauma, no clear cause of death, just exposure, as if they simply lay down and faded. In the Appalachians, these details appear again and again. Entire search and rescue units describe electronics failing. Simultaneously, radios hissing with static, GPS units flickering out. Bloodhounds refuse to follow a scent, whimpering as if repelled by something invisible. Volunteers speak of a presence just beyond the tree line, a weight in the air that makes the skin crawl. Skeptics argue for ordinary explanations: rapid weather changes, predator attacks, simple human error. But the uniformity across decades and thousands of miles keeps the questions alive. How do trained outdoorsmen disappear steps from their camps? Why do storms arrive the moment a person is lost? Why are bodies later found in spots searched dozens of times? Some investigators suggest an undiscovered predator. Others whisper about hidden cave systems or magnetic anomalies. Folklore-minded locals return to older beliefs: spirits of the mountains reclaiming trespassers, or thin places where worlds overlap. Whatever the cause, the missing 401 cases transform the Appalachian wilderness into more than scenery. It becomes a living puzzle. Ancient ridges and shadowed hollows holding secrets science hasn't solved. Anyone who hikes these trails becomes part of a mystery that stretches beyond a single mountain range into something far older and far stranger than the map can show. The most haunting details of Appalachian disappearances come from those who return or from the rescuers who venture deep into the mountains to find them. Their words add a human chill that no statistic or legend can match. Survivors often describe missing hours. One hiker recalls stepping off the trail to investigate a flicker of light, then awakening at dawn miles from where she entered the woods. Her watch had stopped. Her phone battery, full the night before, was dead. She carried no memory of the lost time, only a heavy sense that something had followed her back. Search and rescue teams share accounts just as unsettling. Veteran trackers speak of sudden, oppressive silence when entering specific hollows, as if the forest itself holds its breath. Some report a low vibration that hums through the ground and into their bones. Radios crackle with static or pick up voices, sometimes the very name of a rescuer, though no one is transmitting. Dogs, typically fearless, provide their own warnings. Handlers describe animals freezing mid-stride, ears flat, eyes fixed on a single patch of dark trees. No command or treat can coax them forward. It's not mere fatigue. It's as though the dogs sense something humans can't. Occasionally, a missing person is found alive, but their stories deepen the mystery. One man was discovered in a ravine he couldn't have reached without climbing gear. Disoriented and barefoot, he swore he'd been guided out of a fog by a figure he never fully saw. Another survivor spoke of a metallic taste in the air and a chorus of whispers that grew louder the farther he walked, until he lost consciousness. Skeptics suggest exhaustion, hypothermia, or the brain's tricks under stress. Auditory hallucinations, time distortion, panic. Yet these explanations falter when multiple rescuers, in separate incidents, describe the same metallic smell, the same unnatural quiet, the same feeling of being watched. These testimonies don't offer neat answers. Instead, they deepen the Appalachian enigma. Whether you believe in science or spirits, the words of those who've been there carry weight. They remind us that beyond the trail markers and satellite maps lies a wilderness older and stranger than we can measure, a place where people vanish, time bends, and the forest itself seems to whisper, "You are not alone." If you love true mysteries, outdoor survival stories, or American folklore, this deep dive is for you. Subscribe for more investigations into the world's most puzzling disappearances.